You'll see countless articles and videos talking about the importance of creating a work-life balance, but also just as many insisting that the idea of a work-life balance is a myth. Today, I want to explain why there is a middle ground. You see, the idea of a perfect sense of balance between all areas of life is a myth that can have negative consequences. However, that doesn't mean we can't use some of the concepts for an effective and proportionate imbalanced work-life experience. Here are 10 things you need to know about the work-life balance myth and how to work around it. Number 1. The perfect work-life balance doesn't exist. Now, I know this is a bit of a drastic statement to start with, but stick with me. What I mean is that you can't expect to create a lifestyle where every single aspect of your life receives the same level of time and attention. To be honest, it would be exhausting trying to achieve that and holding a metaphorical spirit level up to everything about your life. Instead, we can work towards accepting an imperfect work-life balance that is a little more fluid. This means appreciating that there will be times when some aspects need more attention than others and that you might not get to achieve everything in equal measure. Rather than see that as a failure, we need to see it as a normal part of the process. Number 2. Balance doesn't mean equal measures. When we talk about wanting to experience life in equal measure, this is where the work balance myth becomes problematic. We can waste time and energy worrying about blocking out equal time for work, chores, family time, hobbies, studies, exercise, and more. When that falls apart, as it inevitably will, we stress out and feel like we have failed. Instead, we need to accept that some work-based aspects will require more time than others, while still allowing a reasonable time for the things in life we love. Number 3. We can all learn from the 4 burners method. You may have heard of the 4 burners method when learning about the work-life balance. If not, I'll briefly explain. Imagine a stovetop in front of you with 4 gas burners. Each one is responsible for the energy and time needed for one of 4 different aspects of your life. For example, you could split this between work, health, social, and leisure goals and achievements. Ideally, the work-life balance would see each burner producing the same intensity of flame to allow for the same level of activity in each aspect. The problem is that this isn't practical. At some point, you'll need to add energy to a specific burner. Perhaps there's a massive work project with a short deadline, or you get sick and need to fight off a virus. The only way to do this is to divert energy from a different burner. So you might spend less time with friends and family to stay late at work, or you might forgo hobbies to rest up in bed while sick. Number 4. Maintaining 4 burners means a lot of sacrifices. What this all means is a level of sacrifice with the work-life balance myth that is often overlooked. There will always be something to draw our attention away from something else. What are you willing to sacrifice and minimize your time on when short on time and energy? This is where the work side usually becomes the main focus, and we struggle to maintain the life side. We have to work to keep our jobs and put food on the table. We need to maintain our home for the sake of our family. When we give up on leisure activities and creative projects, we only disappoint ourselves. Number 5. We can achieve a sense of proportion instead of focusing on equal time. These problems with the idea of a perfect work-life balance showcase the need for a sense of proportion over equality. You can't maintain equal time on everything, and probably you shouldn't waste time trying. Instead, you can determine which areas deserve the most time and attention and create proportionate spheres of energy and time to juggle as needed. The work and health spheres may be a little heavier as you make time for your job, exercise commitments, and other health needs. The social and hobby spheres may be lighter and smaller, with quality time dedicated to specific events and interests. You should find it easier to maintain the size and weight of each sphere rather than trying to make them all equal. But before talking about the next point, feel free to like and subscribe right now. And make sure to click the notification bell so you'll be notified of my latest videos as soon as they're published. And now let's go ahead with the video. Number 6. Satisfaction often outweighs a need for balance. Another point I want to make here is that a sense of balance isn't always the best thing to strive for. Life satisfaction is so much more important. As long as we feel a sense of gratification in all areas of life, they don't have to be 100% in time and effort. You might get as much joy from 1 hour playing in the park with the kids or working on a painting as you would from taking the afternoon to give the house a good clean. So keep this in mind when determining that sense of proportion. Number 7. You should keep track of your priorities. This idea of satisfaction and gratification also means the need to assess your true priorities in life. This will help you shape that proportionate approach to the different areas. Work and financial gains are understandable priorities, but there will be some tasks that are more important and others that you could reschedule or delegate to other people. This will stop your work sphere from swelling up too much. At the same time, you can determine a priority for the week related to family time and a specific goal within your hobbies. This will add more purpose to those spheres to stop them from getting neglected. Number 8. You should pay attention to when the scales fall too far out of balance. Another important metaphor for work-life balance is to use a set of scales. You put the big productive work tasks on one side, such as career-based projects, household chores, meetings, and anything essential on one side. You then put the fun life tasks on the other, such as your social occasions, hobbies, creative projects, and other leisure time. More often than not, the scales will lean toward the work side. We lean into the priorities on that side and make sacrifices on the other. But you don't want it to lean too much. There may never be a perfect balance, but that doesn't mean the work side should get so heavy it falls to the ground. When you feel this start to happen, often through feelings of overwhelm, you need to reduce your workload and turn to those leisure pursuits to balance out again. Number 9. You should always check in with how you feel. Now, I want to stress the importance of checking in with your feelings, rather than just a sense of productivity. There will be times when you find that your schedule and time blocking skills allow you plenty of opportunity to achieve your goals in the work and health spheres, maybe with just enough time for your social and hobby spheres. You may get a clear sense of achievement when you see the check marks on the to-do list or the extra money in your account. But are you happy? This is often a tough question to answer because we feel we should be completely satisfied with our success, but don't feel entirely fulfilled. This may mean that the work-life balance isn't serving you as it should. Again, this is where it's easy to see the work-life balance myth in full effect. We juggle time and projects without getting that joy and improved mindset promised. At this point, it helps to reevaluate your approach and see if you can address the discrepancies between the productive spheres and the enjoyable ones for a better sense of balance. Number 10. You should always reevaluate your schedule and methods. Finding a work-life balance approach that's right for you won't happen overnight. The concept of perfect balance may be a myth, but you can still work on your schedule and time management to find the right proportions for your different spheres. If work is overpowering the social and hobby spheres too much, look into ways of reducing your hours or finding time-saving tools. Then you can use that freed up time for one of the areas that are lacking. Do this as many times as you need to gain that feeling of satisfaction and a better sense of balance. This is where I need to reiterate that crucial point about the level scales. You aren't going to get that perfect balance of time and effort because there are so many variables affecting our priorities and ability to work on different areas of our life. Sometimes the sacrifices will be greater than others, and it might not feel too good. But as long as you're aware of this and prepared to address the balance at a later date, it should all work out in the end. There is still a way to benefit from building a more fluid work-life balance. I know this video gets a little heavy at times, and I don't want you to give up on the idea of some form of work-life balance. Just because the idea of perfect balance is a myth, that doesn't mean you can't improve your current situation and mindset. Take the time to think about the different spheres in your life and how much time and weight they deserve. Work on maintaining those without making them too heavy and depleting others in the process. Evaluate your methods and feelings to readjust your scales as needed. If this video has resonated with you and you feel it will help you moving forward, I would really appreciate it if you liked and shared this to help other people. Together, we can readdress the way we approach the work-life balance for a healthier outlook and better results. Thank you for watching, and click here right now to watch the next video, where you'll learn how to be proactive when you encounter obstacles along the way.